Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another envelope video. Last week I shared this Mickey Mouse Disney inspired envelope and I wanted to recreate it and make it more colorful. So here we are. Here is the more colorful version, and a bunch of you asked to see how it was made. Not the color version, the yellow version before. So when I made this colorful version, I decided to film. So here we go. I started out by making my own envelope out of some Strathmore Bristol paper. I used a We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board for that. I just skipped over that since I've shown that to you guys a lot. I'm just going to be showing you the decoration portion. So I'm using the nesting circles dies from Waffle flour. I'm using two different sizes. I've got a large circle and then a more medium-sized circle, and I die cut two of the medium-sized circles, and all of them are masking paper. So I then peeled off the backing paper and adhered them onto the envelope in a Mickey Mouse sort of shape. Now, when I put them on the envelope, I made sure that I had my postage up there in the top corner so that I could make sure that I don't go into those areas with the postage. I also masked off the outer edges of the sides and the bottom. And this not only holds my envelope in place while I'm working, but it masks off those flaps that I don't want any color to get onto. I'm going to be using 6 colors of Distress Oxide inks today, starting out with Picked Raspberry. And I'm going to be bringing it in on kind of a large portion of this envelope because most of where the pink is right next to the really large Mickey shape. So I want to make sure I have enough pink covering that area. I then grabbed the ripe persimmon and brought that in just on the top flap. I went to mustard seed and blended that in as well. So I'm using some ink blending tools or blender brushes from Honeybee, and I love these because you get a really nice soft blend, and also because I'm blending on Bristol paper, I get a really smooth blend. If you've never tried ink blending on Bristol paper using oxides or regular distress inks or just any inks in general, you should try it because it's a life-changing and it's a really, really easy blend. I moved on to Modelon, Mermaid Lagoon, and also Wilted Violet. And after I had my initial colors on there, I brought in the XL dot stencil from Postage Stamps, and I just put that over the top, and I used the same colors in the same areas and blended over. And this gives it a really cool effect because some of the colors are kind of going to creep into where the other, like the color next to it was before, but the oxides kind of cover it up because they're more opaque. It's a really cool look, and I adore how this turned out. It was a little bit time consuming. I think in total, this envelope took a full hour to complete, but I think it's completely worth it. And I really want to do this technique with these dots in the same colors on a card because I think it would look really, really cool. And these colors turned out so vibrant and playful. It really lends itself to the Mickey Mouse theme and kind of the Disney theme. And so when I did that original envelope with just yellow and black, it turned out really cool. I do like it. But after I finished, I thought, this needs more color. It needs color because it was just so fun and playful and I wanted it to have color. So I had a little spot over here where my stencil, ended, and I had to kind of hide the fact that I blended off the edge of the stencil. So I brought in even more ink right there and kind of moved things around, tried to get that color kind of hidden. And it worked really, really well. So here I am. I'm going to peel off all of the masking tape and masking paper. Like my friend Julie Ebersol says, this is like Christmas morning. It's so fun to take off the masks. I was very careful because my hands had a little bit of ink on them at this point. So I was very careful to not touch any of the white areas too much. So I peeled up this mask. You can kind of see me checking my fingers like, okay, don't keep touching it. I want to make sure I don't get it on the areas where I wanted to keep white. I used my scissors to help lift up the edges of the masks so that I could peel it off really cleanly. So here's the basic design of the envelope. I'm going to work on the lettering now for the address. Now, one improvement that I made for this envelope versus the previous envelope is that when I applied the Mickey Mouse masks, the 3 circles, I was much more conscious of the fact that I wanted kind of like a full horizontal line going across the large circle into one of the ears. I wanted to make sure I had that long line going all the way across, because on my previous envelope, it was tilted a little bit funny and I wasn't able to do that. So I had to split the address. I had to put the name in one of the circles and then the address in the main circle. And I wanted to try something different this time and have it kind of span across two of the circles. So coming down here onto the main address, I have Tammy's address going all the way across into the second circle. If you can see that there. And I think this worked out much better than the previous positioning. And this was a great improvement from the first envelope. Big thanks to Tammy for allowing me to use her address. I have permission from her. If you would like to add your name to the list for consideration for future envelopes, there's a link down in the video description or at my blog. Just click over. I do have a new form every single month. So Tammy, because I filmed this today, she was really quick. In fact, let's see, I'm going to check the timestamp on when she submitted it. She submitted her address at 5 a.m. this morning. So she was the first one on June 1st to submit her address. So even if you have submitted addresses in the past, you will have to resubmit, because I only look at the ones that have been submitted for that month just to make sure all the addresses are current. And if I have used your address in the past, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be using it again. If you've had one envelope, that's it. Because I've noticed that a few of you have continued to submit your addresses. But just so you know, you don't have to. It is for giveaways though too. So if I do giveaways, so I guess in that case, you probably would want to submit your name. So for my return address on the flap, I needed black to go underneath my white lettering. So I'm using some Dr. P.H. Martin's Black Star matte ink. And this is a really fantastic ink. I don't know why I haven't been using it all along. It was really wonderful. It's waterproof. It's great because then I can put water-based inks and pens on top and it doesn't pull up the black. It's kind of fantastic. So I'm using a number 10 bold jelly roll pen for my address. And then everything's pretty much complete. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the envelope now. I'm using some Express-It tape. This is a really strong adhesive. And I just put that on the bottom flap of the envelope, leaving the very tip of that flap free from any adhesive because it does kind of overhang the sides. You'll see here when I fold up the bottom flap. This just makes it so that the envelope doesn't get sealed closed. Okay, so you can kind of see, well, maybe it was a little bright there, but that's how it has to be done. So now I'm going to put on the postage stamps. I always wait until this point to do the postage stamps. It's after the design is done, but before I've applied any distress glaze. That's because the distress glaze puts kind of like a slick surface on the envelope, and then the postage stamps tend to have a problem adhering. So I like to wait until after I have the postage stamps on there to put on any distress glaze, microglaze. So I've got my 4 stamps on here. I've just used my water brush to put a little bit of moisture on the back of these stamps. And just so you know, if you're looking for vintage stamps like this, I have a link down the video description. I buy them online. You can search for unused vintage postage stamps and you'll find a lot of places to buy some fun postage. So now I'm using some Distress Microglaze, and like I said before, this puts like a slick surface. It coats the surface, protects it from any moisture or any smudging. Like sometimes the Distress Oxide inks tend to take a long time to dry and you can accidentally smudge them. This way it seals it up and those inks aren't moving at all. After I've got that applied, I take a paper towel and I just buff off any of that excess. And it does take a little bit of time to dry, probably, I don't know, maybe an hour or so to dry down completely. I usually just wait a day before mailing. So just buffing that off, and that finishes the envelope for today. I'm so glad I recreated this envelope in a more colorful combination. It looked It looks so much better than that previous one, but they both look great in their own right. But I adore this very colorful version. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to see more envelopes, more mail art, more cards, more art like this in general. And leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think of this envelope. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back very soon with another card video. Thanks for watching.